Good afternoon, and welcome back to RMU-Live for Friday, September 21st, 2018. I'm Sonu Babu.
And I'm Andrew Ostrowski. Here's what's happening now.
We have breaking news stories. 5 people, including 3 infants, dead in a New York City daycare this morning.
And a house in Avalon up in flames. A fire broke out at a house this morning in Avalon on the 800 block of Florence Avenue. There's no specified cause of the fire at this time.
A New York City daycare stabbing led to the deaths of 5 people, and among them were 3 infants. A 52-year-old woman was taken into custody at 3:40 a.m.
One person was hospitalized after a shooting at Aliquippa Thursday night. There is no word on that person's condition, and police are still unsure of what prompted the shooting.
2 vehicles caught on fire after a collision in Franklin Township. The accident occurred Thursday night. The coroner's office as well as 3 helicopters were called to the scene. A woman was stabbed after getting off a bus in Pittsburgh North Side late last night. The woman has a stab wound to the shoulder and is now in the hospital in stable condition. Judge Alexander Bickett issued a gag order for the case of the police officer shooting Antoine Rose II. He issued a 4-part gag order. Another hearing is scheduled for September 26th, and the trial is going to begin on February 26, 2019.
Judge Anthony Mariani, involved in the case against the officer that killed Antoine Rose, has recused himself after a heated argument in the courtroom. Mariani decided to walk away from the case after defense attorney Pat Thomasy questioned his bias.
Robert Morris University is on the list of top 25 schools for drug and alcohol arrests at number 23.
Robert Morris University held its Day of Giving yesterday, exceeding its goal of 300 donors. The Day of Giving was held with the hopes that this would encourage a better environment on campus.
RMU and the SEAL Future Fund now have a partnership that will give opportunities to active duty and veteran SEALs, Navy SEALs, to earn a degree here at RMU. So far, $382,000 in scholarships have been given to 44 SEALs.
OVG is Robert Morris's UPMC Center new facilities manager. OVG facilities will provide management, booking, and operational services to the $43 million event center.
According to a recent study, the Pittsburgh International Airport received a better than most rating in the medium category by the J.D. Power 2018 North America Airport Satisfaction Study. The rankings were sorted by mega large and medium-sized airports. Pitt ranked 7th in its respective category. Tom Hanks will be attending the Get Out and Vote rally in the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall in Oakland, September 25th. The organization, When We All Vote, is holding rallies all over the country for the upcoming midterm elections. A Google Doodle today is honoring Pittsburgh's own Mr. Rogers. On this date in 1967, the first episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood aired on WQED.
A student pilot is in custody after police say he hopped a security fence early Thursday at Florida's Orlando-Melbourne International Airport and boarded a passenger jet undergoing maintenance. An airport spokeswoman said employees working on the plane saw Nishal Sankat on the flight deck, grabbed him, held him down, and took him off the plane. Police arrived and arrested the intruder. Melbourne police say that the student at Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne is a dual citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and Canada, and has entered the U.S. illegally.
Multi-surface household cleaners
dealing with is named Nishal Karan Sankat. He is born, I think, in 1996, and he is a resident of Melbourne. He possesses a Florida license. He has no criminal history. He does possess, I think I said, a Florida driver's license and also a commercial pilot license. He's currently in our custody. He continues to be interviewed. So some of the details that we're trying to get as to his intent and what are those things that he was trying to accomplish.
They don't know Sankat's motive. They said he was unarmed and carried no explosives and no links to the terror groups that have been discovered. Airport police say he'll be charged with trespassing on airport property, burglary, and attempted theft in an aircraft. No federal charges have been filed, although the FBI is investigating.
Former Prime Minister Najib Razak has been accused of taking $681 million from the public. He now faces 25 more corruption-related charges, including a scandal with the state fund One Malaysia Development Berhad. Razak pleads not guilty to the charges.
The leaders of North and South Korea, Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in, met this week in the North Korean capital Pyongyang to discuss issues such as economics, nuclear weapons, and steps to end the Korean War. This is the first visit to Pyongyang by a South Korean leader in more than a decade. Two South Carolinian mental patients have drowned after floodwater from Hurricane Florence overtook the vehicle. 2 deputies managed to escape the van.
A California surgeon and his girlfriend are under investigation after 6 more rape allegations have come forward. The couple has allegedly drugged and raped at least 2 women before more accusations came out.
4 Somali soldiers were arrested after fatally shooting a 9-year-old girl in Mogadishu. She was hit in the head by a stray bullet as the soldiers attempted to clear the road for their vehicle by opening fire in the street. The girl's family is demanding justice from Somali government.
3 people were seriously injured after a shooting in an office complex on a Wednesday morning in Wisconsin, and the gunman died in the hospital. He does not have any known criminal record or family in the area, but he is known to be a U.S. citizen in his 40s.
A woman killed 2 people and wounded 3 others at a drugstore distribution center in Harford County, Maryland on Thursday. The shooter used a single handgun in the attack. Authorities say the 26-year-old woman died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 3 victims were treated at a local hospital. Authorities say no law enforcement officers fired shots during the response. Rite Aid spokeswoman Susan Henderson says about 1,000 employees work at the distribution center. Officials say the shooter was a temporary employee at the facility.
A mother of a severely injured girl that was involved in a police chase 3 years ago has now filed a lawsuit against the city of Pittsburgh for wrongdoings in November 2015. Her then 20-year-old son was the driver of the vehicle involved in the chase after he ran a stop sign. The chase ended minutes later when the driver hit another vehicle. The girl experienced internal bleeding and a severed liver. She is still having issues to this day. The driver faced multiple charges and was sentenced. A cocaine kingpin has been sentenced to life in prison. 63-year-old Colin Montague from Greece has found to be running a national cocaine trafficking organization. He was ordered to pay $10 million, which is the amount he made from the cocaine trafficking organization.
An observatory in New Mexico was suddenly closed down because of suspected possession and distribution of child pornography. An FBI application for a search warrant suggested a janitor at the Sunspot Solar Observatory used the building's Wi-Fi to download and distribute child pornography.
High levels of lead and copper was found in 57 Detroit schools. Superintendent Nikolai Vitti has made the decision to turn off drinking water in school for safety purposes. The school's old plumbing systems may be the cause of the 2/3 of public schools with contaminated drinking water. And 2 teens were accused of vandalizing Christmas decorations in Ohio, which was set up for 2-year-old Brody Allen, diagnosed with terminal cancer. A community organization plans a Christmas parade for Allen after this disheartening incident.
Despite having his own last name tattooed on his neck, a man from Greensburg identified as Chad Stitch gave a false last name to law enforcement in a previous arrest. Claiming his name was Chad Majors, Chad Stitch was pulled over and arrested for being under the influence and giving false identification to law enforcement. He is facing various drug charges as well.
For all you need to know about news, sports, and arts and entertainment at RMU and around the Pittsburgh region, visit rmucenturymedia.com.
Coming up next, one of Prince's lost albums is being released, and Amazon is now worth $1 trillion. Stay tuned for more RMU news.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then, another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
An album titled Piano and a Microphone 1983 by the late artist Prince is releasing today. Michael Howe, Prince's estate archivist, previously worked with Prince at Warner Brothers Records and discovered a tape in Prince's estate after his death. There are multiple unreleased songs on the 9-track album, along with a rough draft of Purple Rain.
Amazon announces new products including the Amazon Echo Dot, Echo Sub, and Echo Plus, as well as many other new products available for pre-order now.
In Wall Street news, the Dow jumped to a record high since January this year. There was a 251-point jump on Thursday, closing at 26,657 points. This was a 3,300-point spike since a low on April 2nd.
The everyday cleaning products you're using may be seriously affecting your children's health. Jeremy Roth has more.
Multi-surface household cleaners could be making kids overweight, according to a new study. Health officials found a link between infants living in homes where antimicrobial disinfectants are used at least once a week and elevated levels of a digestive bacteria in their stomachs. The problem is the gut bacteria, Lactospiraceae, is linked to obesity, and the more frequently the products were used, the more bacteria the children had. By the time they reached 3 years old, children in homes using disinfectants had a higher body mass index than children who lived in homes where disinfectants were not frequently used. Further research found there was no increase in the bacteria associated with eco-friendly cleaners without bacteria-killing ingredients. A senior author of the study says the results suggest the gut bacteria is the issue. Researchers caution that even though they found this link, it's still a big leap to say disinfectants cause childhood obesity. For today's Health Minute, I'm Jeremy Roth.
This month, the Texas State Board of Education voted on the removal of Helen Keller along with others in school curriculum. People are questioning if there's a political motivation behind the curriculum removal.
Oreo will celebrate Mickey Mouse's 90th birthday with the exciting limited edition birthday cake cookies. They will be available nationally for everyone to enjoy on September 24th.
A cycling speed record that stood for 2 decades was broken by Denise Mueller-Kornick. She averaged nearly 184 miles per hour on a custom-made bicycle attached to a race car draft.
Space Jam 2, starring LeBron James, will begin production in 2019 and is produced by Black Panther director Ryan Coogler.
A restaurant in Maine is using marijuana to sedate lobsters before killing them and serving them to customers. The restaurant says this is more humane than the traditional method of boiling the lobsters. Customers have the choice of how the lobster is prepared. America's Got Talent decided a new winner this season. Card magician Shin Lim won $1 million and will perform a show in Las Vegas. The dance group Zirco was the runner-up.
The Cleveland Browns have finally won a game, and Bud Light is celebrating with a free beer. For Cleveland's NFL team, winning a single game is a cause for celebration. The team hasn't beaten another team in 635 days, so Bud Light installed victory fridges like this one in 10 Cleveland bars. With the Browns' 21-17 win over the Jets, Bud Light unlocked the fridges. Now fans are celebrating with free beer. When we come back, we'll go to Ryan Giacobbe for sports and Dom Merlot for the weather. Be sure to tune in to our other shows, RMU-Live Mondays at 1 p.m. and Fridays at noon, Sports Talk in the Berg, and RMU Tonight Wednesdays at 5 p.m. and Colonial Sports Center Thursday at 9:30 p.m. here on RMU-TV.
These hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Ah, Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to RMU-Live. Let's get into this week's sports, shall we? The Pittsburgh Steelers played last Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs in a close 37-42 loss. The Steelers will have another chance to get their first win this coming Monday when they travel to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8:05 p.m. Now, moving on to RMU Sports, the football team kicks off Northeast Conference play this weekend as they travel to face the Bryant University Bulldogs for the first game of 6 NEC games over an 8-game stretch. And kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. Moving on, the RMU volleyball team is also scheduled to begin Northeast Conference play later today as they head to Central Connecticut for the first match of a very long NEC stretch. The match is set to start at 4 p.m. Moving on, the men's soccer team went back to their losing ways after picking up their first win last weekend against LaSalle when they failed to keep the magic going against the Duquesne University Dukes on Wednesday, losing 4-1. The only goal scored for RMU was from Owen Pierce at the 17th minute. And men's soccer plays again tomorrow away against the Howard University Bison at 1 p.m. The women's soccer team played last Sunday, losing 2-1 to Yale. The team will look to revive their winning ways against the Wagner College Seahawks in an upcoming NEC Conference matchup later today at 3 p.m. from the North Athletic Complex here at Robert Morris University. And now let's go to Dom on weather.
All right, thank you for bringing me here. All right, so first, for today's weather on the 21st day of September, we've got a high of 85 and a low of 55. Pretty wild changes there. Though we have a 30% chance of precipitation at about 8 o'clock, we're gonna see some storms. We're gonna see some things. Now moving on to tomorrow's forecast, we're going way further down to a high of 63 and a low of 52. Getting into football season weather, 69% humidity, which is definitely gonna be a bit difficult to deal with around this time. For the rest of the 5-day, we've got, we can expect on Sunday, we can expect a pretty sunny kind of day. Not too hot, but pretty decent. Monday's definite. It's going to rain a little bit. Nothing too wild. Tuesday's guaranteed thunderstorms, especially later on in the day. Wednesday, we've got some showers. Nothing too substantial. And on Thursday, it's partly cloudy. Not too bad, but it's partly cloudy. But yeah, generally samey kind of week. That's your 5-day forecast. That's the weather.
And that is all we have for today. Thank you for joining us today on RMU Live.
See you next week.